You and your dog share the same house, the same rooms, the same air, the same walls. You watch the same rain fall outside the same window. You sleep in the same dark, but you do not live in the same world. Your dog inhabits a version of reality so different from yours that if you could step inside their perception for even 60 seconds, you would not recognize the place you call home. The smells alone would be overwhelming. A universe of layered information that you have been walking through your entire life without registering a single word of it. The sounds would arrive from distances that would seem impossible. The emotional data coming off the people around them would be so vivid and specific, it would feel almost like reading minds. Dogs sense things that humans cannot detect. Not metaphorically, not as a matter of opinion. Physiologically, neurologically, measurably, your dog is processing a world that is simply invisible to you. These are 10 of the most remarkable examples. And by the end of this, the way you understand your dog's behavior may never be quite the same. The first thing dogs sense is time, with an accuracy that has no human equivalent. Dogs do not have watches. They do not have calendars. And yet research has consistently shown that dogs can predict the return of their owner with precision that correlates to the actual time elapsed rather than any environmental cue like traffic sounds or routine noise. A landmark study by biologist Rupert Sheldrake, which monitored dogs in empty homes using video cameras, found that dogs began moving toward the door at the moment their owner started traveling home, regardless of whether the return was early, on time, or late. The mechanism behind this is not fully understood. One compelling hypothesis involves the gradual dissipation of the owner's scent in the home over time. As the smell of the person who left fades across the hours, the dog may be tracking its own diminishment the way a human might track a clock, reading the world as it changes moment by moment with a sensitivity we cannot access. Time for a dog is not abstract. It is something they can smell. The second thing dogs sense is cancer. This is not speculation. This is documented medical research with publication records in peer-reviewed journals spanning over 2 decades. Dogs have been trained and tested across multiple independent studies to detect the presence of various cancers, including lung, breast, ovarian, prostate, colorectal, and melanoma, through scent alone, with accuracy rates that in some trials exceed 90%. The mechanism is the volatile organic compounds that cancer cells produce as metabolic byproducts. These compounds alter the chemical signature of a person's breath, urine, and skin in ways that are undetectable to any human nose, but well within the extraordinary range of a dog's olfactory system, which contains up to 300 million scent receptors compared to a human's approximately 6 million. In one study published in the journal Gut, trained dogs detected colorectal cancer from breath and stool samples with 91% sensitivity and 99% specificity, results that outperformed some standard clinical screening methods. Untrained pet dogs have been documented repeatedly nudging, sniffing with unusual persistence, or pawing at specific areas of their owner's body, areas that were later found, upon medical examination, to contain tumors. The dog could not name what they were sensing, but they were sensing it. The third thing dogs sense is emotional states, with a biochemical precision most people underestimate. When you are afraid, your body releases adrenaline. Your heart rate increases, your sweat composition changes, your breathing pattern shifts. None of these changes are invisible to your dog. Research from the University of Naples, Federico II, confirmed that dogs can smell human fear, not as a vague atmospheric shift, but as a specific chemical signal that alters the dog's own behavior and stress response. Dogs exposed to the sweat of frightened humans showed measurably higher stress indicators than dogs exposed to the sweat of calm humans, even when the samples were presented with no person present and no behavioral cues available. Your dog knows when you are anxious before you have said a word, before you have changed your posture or your expression. They are reading a chemical broadcast that you are transmitting without awareness and that they cannot turn off. This is why dogs are so reliable as emotional support animals. It is not that they sense something vague. It is that they are receiving a precise and continuous stream of physiological data about your internal state. The fourth thing dogs sense is seizures before they happen. Medical alert dogs trained for epilepsy have demonstrated the ability to warn their owners of an oncoming seizure anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes before it occurs. Research has confirmed detection rates above 80% in trained animals, and even some untrained dogs have shown this capacity spontaneously after extended close contact with a person who has epilepsy. The precise mechanism remains under active investigation, but current research points to subtle changes in body chemistry and behavior that precede a seizure in ways that are imperceptible to humans, but detectable to a dog's olfactory and observational systems. Some researchers believe that changes in electrical activity in the brain may produce a corresponding shift in body chemistry that dogs register through smell. Others believe dogs are detecting microbehavioral changes, tiny inconsistencies in posture, movement, or attention that precede the event by minutes. Whatever the mechanism, the functional reality is this: your dog may know what your own brain has not yet announced. The fifth thing dogs sense is geomagnetic fields. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Zoology, which analyzed the defecation and urination behavior of 70 dogs across 37 breeds, found that dogs prefer to align their bodies along a north-south axis when performing these behaviors under calm magnetic field conditions. The alignment disappeared under fluctuating magnetic conditions, confirming that dogs are actively sensing and responding to the Earth's magnetic field. The ability to detect geomagnetic fields, magnetoreception, has been documented in birds, fish, sea turtles, and several other animal species. The 2013 study was the first to document it rigorously in domestic dogs, and it raised significant questions about what role this sense plays in the way dogs navigate, orient themselves, and understand space. What a dog experiences as they align to the planet's magnetic field is something no human has ever felt. There is no human analog for it. It is an entirely additional channel of sensory information, operating quietly beneath everything else. The sixth thing dogs sense is storms, long before they arrive. Dog owners have noticed for generations that their animals become anxious, restless, or seek shelter well before any storm becomes visible or audible. Research has now identified the mechanisms behind this. Dogs can detect the drop in barometric pressure that precedes a storm, a change that human bodies register only as a vague sense of heaviness, if at all. They can hear the infrasound produced by severe weather systems at frequencies far below the threshold of human hearing. They can sense the buildup of static electricity in the air. And their sense of smell picks up the particular combination of ozone, rain-saturated earth, and altered air pressure that moves ahead of weather systems. Your dog is not anxious about thunder because they are irrational. They are anxious because they knew the storm was coming before you had any idea it existed. The seventh thing dogs sense is dishonesty. Research from Kyoto University found that dogs will stop trusting a person who has demonstrated unreliability or deception in their signaling behavior. In the study, when a person consistently pointed toward an empty container, a misleading gesture, dogs quickly stopped following that person's guidance and disengaged from the interaction entirely. They did not make this assessment based on emotional reaction or punishment. They made it based on pattern recognition and the mismatch between signal and reality. Separate research has shown that dogs can distinguish between a person who genuinely does not know where food is hidden and a person who does know but is deliberately withholding. Their behavioral response to each is measurably different. They are not reading minds, but they are reading something, a combination of behavioral microsignals, physiological cues, and pattern consistency that adds up to a social assessment humans are rarely aware they are making themselves. The eighth thing dogs sense is pregnancy. Changes in a pregnant woman's hormone levels alter her body chemistry in ways that dogs detect through smell and behavioral observation well before any visible physical changes occur. Owners have reported their dogs becoming more protective, more attentive, or behaviorally changed weeks before a pregnancy was confirmed, and in some cases, before the owner herself knew. The hormonal shifts involved in early pregnancy, rising levels of progesterone, human chorionic gonadotropin, and estrogen, alter the body's scent profile in measurable ways. A dog's olfactory system, operating with hundreds of millions of scent receptors, registers these shifts the way a sophisticated laboratory instrument might. The dog cannot name what they are detecting, but their behavior changes in response to it. They sense the beginning of something new before the human carrying it has any awareness that it has begun. The ninth thing dogs sense is the electrical activity of thunderstorms through their pores. Beyond the atmospheric signals described earlier, Research has indicated that dogs may actually feel static electrical buildup through their paws and coat, a physical sensation that intensifies as storm systems approach and as electrical charge accumulates in the ground and air. This explains a behavior that puzzles many owners. Dogs who seek out bathtubs, tile floors, or other grounded surfaces during approaching storms. They are not randomly choosing hiding spots. They are attempting to discharge or avoid the static charge they are physically experiencing. The discomfort is real. The dog is not simply afraid of noise. They are responding to a physical sensation that humans in the same room cannot feel at all. The 10th thing dogs sense is the approach of death. Accounts of dogs behaving differently around terminally ill individuals, becoming quieter, more attentive, more physically close, appear across cultures, across centuries, and across almost every environment where dogs and humans have lived together. Research into this phenomenon points to the same olfactory mechanisms involved in cancer detection, changes in the body's chemical output as cellular processes shift fundamentally near the end of life. The dogs at hospice facilities who choose to stay with certain patients, the family dog who will not leave the bedside of a person in their final days, these animals are not performing a ritual. They are responding to a signal, something in the biochemistry of a body approaching death, that registers in a dog's sensory world as clearly and specifically as a scent trail in open air. They cannot explain what they know, but they know, and they stay. Because staying, for a dog, is what knowledge becomes when it meets love. 10 things. Time measured in scent. Disease detected before diagnosis. Emotion read as chemistry. Seizures anticipated before the brain announces them. A planet's magnetic field felt beneath their feet. Storms sensed before the first cloud. Deception registered in behavior. New life detected before it is known. Electricity felt through the ground. And the approach of an ending met with quiet, faithful presence. Your dog is not just an animal sharing your space. They are a sensor array of extraordinary sophistication, pointed at a world you cannot fully see, reporting back in the only language available to them, behavior, closeness, and unwavering attention to you. If your dog has ever sensed something you could not explain, leave it in the comments. The stories there are worth reading. Like this video if it changed how you see your dog's world. And subscribe to keep going deeper into the mind of the animal who has always been paying attention to things you never knew were there.